Hello children. Today can we discuss about cell membrane? About cell membrane. We know that all living organisms are made up of cells. And this cell membrane is the first layer in the animal cell and second layer in the plant cell. A cell contains many cell organelles. And all the cell organelles are protected by cell membrane or plasma membrane. We know that walls protect us from external environmental conditions like heat, cold, wind, and even wild animals. Exactly the same way, cell membrane protects the cell from its external environment. Walls also separates the different rooms one another, right? Similarly, even the cell membrane separates the components inside the cell from neighboring cells. You know that the doors of the room allow us to go in and out. Even the cell membrane have their own doors to let the things in and out. Cell membrane allows the exchange of only specific substances between different cells and the environment. The membrane only allows few substances and block the rest. This property of the cell membrane of permitting only specific substances is called selectively permeable membrane. So, cell membrane or plasma membrane is known as selectively permeable membrane. Through the windows of our house, the small animals like puppy, kitten and insects can enter. What about big animals like camel and elephant? Can it enter through windows? No, it is not possible. Like that, cell membrane has small pores. Only allows small substances, not bigger substances. So the cell membrane is permeable only to few substances and hence it is called semi-permeable membrane. Even a cell has different shapes. Cell membrane is the organelle which is responsible for giving the cells proper shape. How does the movement of substances takes place into the cell? And how do substances move out of the cell? It is possible through diffusion and osmosis. Can we learn about diffusion and osmosis? Before that, we need to discuss about concentration. What is concentration? Measure of one particular substance in a solution. Not very clear, right? So we can see an experiment to understand concentration. Let's take water in a beaker and add few spoons of salt into it. Now this is a solution. There are two substances in it, salt and water. Concentration is the measure of one particular substance that is found in the solution. So the measure of salt present in this solution is the salt concentration. And the measure of water present in this solution is the water concentration. Now you got the idea of concentration, right? So we can discuss about diffusion. Take a beaker, fill it with water. This time we are going to add ink, adding into one end of the beaker. In some time it slowly started to move and after a while you can see it is spread throughout the beaker. Means That ink was initially higher concentration at the one end of the beaker slowly started to move to other end. Usually, gaseous exchange across the cell membrane takes place by diffusion. Carbon dioxide concentration is higher inside the cell than outside the cell. As soon as there is a difference of concentration of carbon dioxide inside and outside a cell, carbon dioxide moves out of the cell from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration outside the cell by the process of diffusion. Similarly, oxygen enters the cell by the process of diffusion. When the level or concentration of oxygen inside the cell decreases. You can also feel diffusion happening around you every day. Like, look at this picture. Here, diffusion happening. Because of that, the smell comes from the socks. Delicious smell of food spread from the kitchen. Can we define diffusion? It is the spontaneous movement of substances from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. Water also obeys the law of diffusion. The movement of water molecules from higher concentration to the lower concentration through semi-permeable membrane, that means our cell membrane, is called osmosis. Take a beaker and fill it with water. We are going to divide the beaker into two compartments by using a semi-permeable membrane. Let's name this compartment A and B. Water can move through this semi-permeable membrane. Therefore, free movement of water molecules occur across the membrane. Water level in both the compartments is the same. Now, let us add few spoons of colored salt to compartment A. So, salt concentration is high in compartment A and nil in compartment B. If you observe compartment A, some water molecules are with salt molecules. Whereas in compartment B, all the water molecules are free. Free water concentration is higher in compartment B than in compartment A. So we know that compartment A has higher salt concentration than B. Do you think the water will move? Will it be the direction of A to B or B to A? Since the higher concentration of free water is in B, it would be from B to A. We use the another term for this movement called osmosis. Can we define osmosis? It is the movement of water molecules from higher concentration to a lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. What will happen if we put an animal cell or a plant cell into a solution of sugar or salt? Let's see how osmosis happens inside the cell. Cell surrounded by solution which has certain amount of salt X in it. As we know, the cell membrane is semi-permeable. It cannot allow salt to enter, but it will allow water molecules. How would the transfer takes place according to osmosis principle? Well, there are three possibilities. First possibility is if the water concentration in the surrounding salt solution is exactly same as that inside the cell. In such cases, the surrounding salt solution is said to be isotonic solution. No movement of water will occur in this case. Let us take an example. Look at this picture. It is one of the blood cell, RBC, red blood cell. Now concentrate on the middle picture. Now this RBC is in the isotonic solution. So the water crosses the cell membrane in both the direction. But the amount going in is the same as the amount going out. So there is no overall movement of water. The cell will stay the same size. That means there is no change in the cell shape. In the second possibility, if the water concentration in the surrounding salt solution is more than that inside the cell, the salt solution in this case said to be hypotonic solution. Here, water enters into the cell, causing the cell to swell up or turgid. This movement of water into the cell is called endosmosis. Endo means entry. So, entry of water molecules. Look at these food items. If you soak these food items in water for few hours, what will be the result? These food items will swell up. That means water will enter to this food item. Third possibility is that when the water concentration in the surrounding salt water is lower than that inside the cell. Here the solution is said to be hypertonic solution. Therefore, water moves out of the cell, causing the cell to shrink. This movement of water out of the cell is called exosmosis. Exo means exit. What will happen if we put mangoes in salt water for few days? Mangoes will shrink. That means the mango contain more water concentration than outside the mango. So water will move from higher concentration to the lower concentration. From mango to the beaker containing solution. Osmosis plays an essential role in the living organisms. For example, absorption of water by roots in plants. When the roots of the plants absorb water, the water will move from one cell to another, from higher concentration to the lower concentration of the cell. Unicellular freshwater organisms like amoeba gain water through osmosis.